Good day, my dear students. You're welcome to our class on air. Today we are starting a series of revision lessons which are aimed at equipping you, preparing you for the examination you are going to start for. To sit for. The Senior School Certificate English Language Examination. And it is important for you to pay attention to this series of lessons. The lessons are organized by the University Press PLC, publishers of high quality textbooks, one of which you have been using, you are familiar with, the new Oxford Secondary English course for senior secondary schools, and of course for junior too, books 1, 2, and then you also have the book 3. Most of what we are going to discuss have been treated in great details in these books. And so if you don't have, please, I want to advise you strongly to get hold of them and then study them very well, because they are actually aimed at equipping you, making sure that you score a very strong distinction, not just a mere let my people go, narrow escape. You know what I mean by narrow escape? Like C6 grade. That's not good for you, because this is an era of competition where you have B's, you have A's, and A is one that is very good for you. Strong A. You know there are A's and A's. You can have A, which has probably 75. You can have A, 80, A, 85. I want a strong A for you. As I told you before, the classes are organized by University PLC. By the way, my name is Akao. I've been involved in teaching and examining English language for the past 49 years. Anyway, that's not very important. Let us look at what we are going to do today, and that's English language. As you are aware, the examination is divided into 3 parts. The English language one. And we want to look at the form of the paper. You have paper 1, which is the objective test, multiple choice. It carries 40 marks. For WAEC, it is 80 items. For NECO, you have 100 items. Then you have paper 2. You have the theory. You have to use the theory. You have the essay writing. Carrying 50 marks. You have comprehension. Carrying 20 marks. And you have summary. Carrying 30 marks. Which means paper 2 carries 100 marks, the bulk of the marks. And it deserves special attention. Paper 3 is the test of orals. It has 60 items. It is by far the cheapest of the 3 papers. I want you to pay attention to it, because some students don't pay attention to it because they think it is technical, or because they laugh at it and so on and so forth. Please make sure that you pay attention, because it's very cheap, very, very cheap, cheaper than any other section of the paper. Now let's look at the paper. I want to start from paper 2 because it carries the bulk of the marks. Paper 2, and that's where many candidates don't do very well. First one is essay writing, which carries 50 marks. Anyone who wants to do very well, who wants to show distinction, must be able to write a good essay. It's important for you to be able to write a good essay. But then, what are the things that you are supposed to know, or that you need to be aware of when you are writing your essay? Let me put in another form. What are the things that the examiners are looking out for when they are assessing your scripts? There are 5 principal things, 5 sections of the essay, 5 sections. The very first one is the length of the essay. The length of the essay, which is 450 words. In other words, you have to write up to 450 words on any of the topics, only of the question that you have chosen. That is a minimum. Minimum means the least you can write. And therefore, you have to write up to that one. You can write more than 450 words, but you have to write up to 450 words. Anybody who writes less than 450 words will be penalized. And therefore, on any of the 5 questions that you choose, you have to write up to 450 words. But then, you can write more than 450 words, 460, 470, 480, 490, but the examiner is actually concerned with the 450 words limit. And then, how do you now calculate the number of words? Do you go from 1 to 450? No, the examiner himself does not do that. What he does is to random sample. Random sample. And know that sample, you know the meaning of sample. Probably you want to organize a ceremony. You have a piece of cloth. That's the sample. Random means something that's not based on any system, any method, any procedure, any order. It is based on, it is arbitrary. Arbitrary. Based on what I want. For example, if this is my sheet of paper, my script, this is my script. Examiner looks at it. And then on line 1, I'm writing 10 words. Line 3, I'm writing 10 words. Line 7, I'm writing 10 words. By the time I get to line 15, I'm already writing 8 words because time is going. Line 17, I'm writing 8 words. Line 29, I'm writing 8 words. The examiner can choose a number of lines, and then he adds the number of words together and gets an average. If you add this together, you have 54 upon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, which means anybody is writing according to this pattern will be writing an average of 9 words per line. We are not saying that every line will be 9 words, but the average will be 9 words because the length of a word differs from another. For example, in go, you have 2 letters. In come, you have 4 letters. In compartmentalization, you have about 20 letters. But we are still talking about the fact that if you have an average, then you have. In other words, before the examination date, you must be aware of how many words write on the average per line. That's very, very important, so that I can satisfy the examiners in this regard of length. And let me also say that you must write boldly and clearly, so that examiners can read what you are writing without any hesitation, without any doubt. And therefore, you should be able to know how the number of words you write per line and write clearly. Of course, there's a guideline, which is can be stated. I can write it for you on the board. If you have an average of an average of 13 words per line, or rather 13 words per line, you have 35 lines. An average of 12 words per line, you have 38 lines. Out of 11, you have an average of 41 lines. 10 have 45. 9, you have 50. You have 8. You have 56. 7 words per line. You have an average of 64 lines. 6 words per line. You have 75. 5 words per line. You have 90 lines. 4 words per line. You have around 12 lines. While I'm advising you not to write 13 words per line, make sure that it is clearly written, and therefore probably around 11 words per line. Don't even write 4 words per line. That is too few on a line. That's how the length is determined. And therefore, please ensure that you write up to the required number of words per line. And after the number of words per line, we go on to another thing which is very, very important. It's very, very important, and therefore you have to attach importance to it. The next one is the content. Content carrying 10 marks. By the way, all these are discussed in New Oxford Secondary English course for senior secondary schools, book 3, pages 7 and 8. These things are discussed there, but we are still discussing some details. The content is the pillar on which the essay rests. When you have a building, the pillar supports the building, the pillar holds the building. If you remove the pillar, then the building will collapse. In the same way, the content is the pillar of the essay. Once anything is wrong with the pillar or with the content, then the essay is in shambles. And what does content seek to know? The examiner wants to know whether you are writing something that's related to what you have been asked to write. I'm saying related, not related. You know what is related. And therefore, we are looking at relevance. The examiner is concerned with how relevant your content is. Relevant is the adjective. Relevance means the noun. The examiner wants to know how relevant the content is, what you are writing is, to what you have been asked to write. And therefore, it's important for you to think very well about the content of the question you have chosen. Let me give you an example. Probably in one of the past questions, the candidate was asked to write a letter to his friend describing the new environment they have moved to. Many of the candidates were writing the new house in the environment. The house is different from the environment. And once something is wrong with the content, that is the end of the essay, because the content is related to all other sections that we are going to discuss in this series. Therefore, you have to make sure that you pay attention to the content, making sure that content is relevant. Is what? It's relevant. It's important. And don't forget that when you choose your question, you have to look at the words, because a word in English language means so many things. And therefore, you have to look at the word in the context. Let me give you an example. Look at this word bar as a noun. You cannot say this is the meaning of bar unless you know that the person is speaking, you know the person who is speaking. Bar to a lawyer may mean a body of lawyers. Bar to a goalkeeper may mean that thing which you place on 2 goalposts, and that's why over the bar. Bar to a hotelier may mean the place where they go to drink. Bar to a carpenter may mean that thing which is used to remove his nails. Bar to a soap maker may be that long thing which he produces, which is cut into bits for washing. Bar to a salary earner may mean that ceiling above which cannot receive any increment at all. There are so many other meanings of bars. In fact, in the dictionary, you have about 16 meanings to this word. What I'm saying is that you have to examine every word in the context in which it has been used. Let me give you another example. In an example, candidates are to write on should capital punishment be abolished? That was the topic, the question. Many students, many candidates wrote on this topic, on this question, but many of them did not do well because they did not understand the meaning of capital punishment. Many of them wrote on corporal punishment, which is the punishment given by in schools, probably where you have canes being administered. Probably somebody comes late and is given the scores of the cane. Some of them even wrote on lack of money, because they know capital to be money in commerce or in economics. But the meaning of this one is death penalty. And so anybody writing on anything apart from death penalty will score 0 here. No matter how good your expression may be, no matter how good your writing may be, once the content is irrelevant, irrelevant, the examiner scores 0 here. No matter how good or how kind or how magnanimous an examiner may be, his hands are tied, because in the marking scheme says once anybody writes something that is irrelevant, it is 0 in content. Therefore, you have to make sure that what you are writing is relevant, and you know the meaning of every word, every expression, every phrase in the question you have chosen. In addition to that, if a question may have more than one aspect, might be 3 aspects or 2 aspects, you must ensure that you devote attention to all the aspects of the question. Let me give you another example. Probably you have been asked to write on present many cases of road traffic accidents in your country, and this is giving a concern to the government. Write a letter, write an article for publication in the national newspaper on the causes, the effects, or the solutions to road traffic accidents. Now, if anybody writes on only the causes throughout the essay, the maximum will be 3, because he has restricted himself to only one aspect of the essay. It does not mean that I can score 3. The maximum is 3. Probably he has written so well, therefore he is awarded 2 upon 3, which is now 2 upon 10. Therefore, it is important for us to ensure that we write something that is relevant. Let me also warn you about question number 5. Question number 5 asks you to write a story illustrating a saying or a proverb or ending with a statement. Many students usually write stories because they are interested in writing stories. But once these stories do not illustrate the saying, the examiner will score the candidates 0 upon 10. You can write thrilling stories, fascinating stories, exciting stories, captivating stories. But if these stories are not just illustrating the saying, like a stitch in time saves 9, or those who live in glass houses should not throw stones, and so on and so forth. If they do not illustrate the saying and write a very beautiful, interesting story, without the relevance, it is 0. And what I told you before, once anybody saw 0 here, it is the end of the road for essay writing. That's about the content. So the content is the pillar. Let's go on to another one, which is the organization. It carries 10 marks. As I said before, all these things have been discussed in New Oxford Secondary English course for senior secondary schools, book 3, on pages 7 and 8. You can go and check after this program, or if you have it, you can usually bring it when you have this program. The marks for this one is 10 marks. But the problem we have is that once anybody scores 0 here, such a person will score 0 here. They are related. They are connected. It's already in the marking scheme. Nobody can change it because it has been stated that anybody that scores 0 in content will score 0 in organization. And that's why I said the content is the pillar of the essay, which you have to pay much attention to and discuss and make sure that you understand very well. Organization has to do with planning. Planning is very, very essential in any human endeavor, in any human venture. Even before I came here today to teach, I planned what I wanted to teach. Therefore, even in your personal life too, you need planning. Planning is so very, very. Well, for example, you have a piece of land and you want to erect a building there. You just call the bricklayer and say, one day, come and dig the foundation here. Come and dig the toilet here. Come and dig the bathroom here. Let the master bedroom be here. Is that what you do? No, of course not. You first of all have a plan. So also, an essay must have a plan. Once you choose your topic, your question, then you must plan about it. You think about it for the first 4 or 5 minutes. You think about it and write your outline. Your what? Your outline. In other words, the ideas, the points you are going to use in the essay. Probably I want to write on the causes of road traffic accidents in my country. And I have in this form, the first one is the careless attitude of the drivers. The second one, the policemen on the road. The third one, the condition of the roads. Fourth one, the condition of the vehicles. All those are the outlines which I want to write on when I'm writing the essay. So outline, very, very important. You can write these outlines on your answer script, not the question paper, the answer script, and then cross it out neatly. Nobody bothers about it. After that one, then you need to observe the rules of paragraphing. What? Paragraphing. It's important for us to have paragraphs in the essay. And of course, you know what is meant by paragraphing. Whenever you want to start your paragraph, you move to the right, indent your writing so that you can have the clear outline, the clear paragraph that you want. In any essay, there must be nothing less than 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs. It can be more, but not less. The first one is the introduction. 3 or 4 other ones, or 5 other ones will be developmental. Introduction for the first one. And 3, 4, or 5 ones that will follow the introduction will be the developmental paragraphs. And the last one will be the conclusion. You can have more than 5, I told you before. It can be 5, can be 6, can be 7. But don't write 10 paragraphs. Some of you are fond of writing probably one sentence paragraph and then we write 10 or 11 paragraphs. No, we are not saying that. We are saying that the paragraph must be 5 or more. That's all right. Then another thing is that each paragraph must contain one idea. One idea in a paragraph. For example, I'm talking about the road traffic accident I was talking about. Probably the first paragraph, the careless attitude of the drivers. The next one, the attitude of the policemen on the road. The third one, the condition of the vehicles, and so on. So those are points I'm using to write my essay in each of these paragraphs. In addition, and this is very, very important, very, very important, in any paragraph, there must be nothing less than 4 sentences. Nothing less than 4 sentences. You can write more than 4 sentences. Can be 5, can be 6, depending on what you are discussing. But it cannot be 1 or 2 or 3 sentences. It must be 4 sentences. And these 4 sentences will be discussing one idea in that paragraph. In addition, you are asked to use some link words, link, or connectives. These are words that you use to link one paragraph with another, or to connect, if you like. Such words as moreover, however, furthermore, and so on and so forth. You have many of them. In addition, also, all these are link words. You have to use them properly, use them appropriately, not just throw them in to show the examiner that you know these words. And one of the commonly misused one is the however one. However means you are contrasting one idea with another. Probably you have said something that is not quite pleasant in the first one, and then in the second one you are not right. However, contrary to what I've stated, in contrast to what I've stated. So make sure that you don't use the however link just anyhow to show that you know it. It's not that one. Make sure that you use that one properly. It's important. That's about organization. It's very, very important to organize our work so that it can be very clear, can be explained, can be read and understood. Let's go on to another one, and that is the expression. Which carries 20 marks. By the way, let me remind you, this series are being brought to you by University Press PLC, the publishing house that actually published even the popular one that you are using, the new Oxford Secondary English course for senior and junior secondary schools. Now, expression carries 20 marks, which means it is very, very important for you to have a very close look at expression. If you are going from one place to another, probably in any city or anywhere, you go by bus. If the bus is faulty, it means you are not going to get to your destination. Therefore, the bus has to be in good condition. In other words, the bus is a means of conveying you from one place to another. In the same way, the expression is a means of conveying your ideas to the examiner or to the reader. Therefore, you have to make sure that you write short sentences where you cannot manage long ones, simple sentences, correct sentences, sentences that can actually put across your ideas in clear-cut terms without any doubt or any mistake about it. Therefore, make sure that you write sentences that are clear, that are correct, that are straightforward, that are not winding or long. Let me give you an example. Probably I've been asked to write on a market I attended yesterday, and I started in this form. Yesterday, I woke up by 5:30 a.m., full stop. After waking up, I said my prayers, full stop. I then got some water ready in the bathroom, full stop. At 6:30, I had my bath, full stop. After having my bath, I went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast, full stop. By 7:30, I was already ready for the market, full stop. By 8 o'clock, I had my breakfast, full stop. By 8:15, I was on my way to the market. All those are clear statements, which actually they have no confusion in them. But if I do it this way, and let me show you another one, and show me which one you prefer. It was at exactly 5:30 a.m. yesterday that I felt the urge to wake up from my bed, and something kept holding me down. Eventually, I got up after getting up. I said my prayers. After saying my prayers, I got some water in the bathroom. After getting water in the bathroom, I had my bath. After having my bath, I went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. After preparing breakfast, I got dressed for the market. After getting ready for the market, I had my breakfast. By 8 o'clock, I was on my way to the market, full stop. Which one do you prefer? The first one, of course, because the second one was no break, no jam. So don't write clumsy, muddled up sentences. Make sure that your sentences are very, very clear. They are clear so that nobody has any doubt about what you are saying. Nobody is confused about what you are saying. That's about and don't use any word whose meaning you are not familiar with. Don't want to show the examiner that you know some big words. You want to show him that, yes, I want to show him that I know some vocabularies. Don't do that. Because if you do that, you are going to do a lot of havoc to your expression, to your essay. Like somebody who knows that conflagration is fire, and domicile is residence. He wants to say his house is on fire, but because he wanted to sound big, he said conflagration, fire is consuming my domicile. All he wanted to say in simple terms, his house is on fire. If somebody goes to the street and begins to say, neighbors, help me, conflagration, fire is consuming my domicile. If he says that, what would people think? Of course, they will think that something is wrong here. So learn to be as simple as possible. It is important for you to be simple in terms of expression. Now, in terms of, the next one is mechanical accuracy. Each carries 10 marks. That's where very many candidates score 0. It is not that it's difficult to score marks there, but very many candidates score 0 because they do not attach importance to very many things which they think are minor, but which are actually important. Because when you make a mistake in terms of spellings, in terms of punctuation, in terms of tenses, in terms of grammar, and some other miscellaneous errors, examiner awards you a ring. That ring is not a pleasant one. There are many types of rings. There are some which when you receive, you are very happy, you are smiling. Maybe your happiest day in your life. And then even the ladies, probably the one in Thanksgiving service, they are hallelujah be the loudest in the church or anywhere they are. And then they will show him for the fourth finger to show that level has changed. I'm talking about a wedding ring. But this one causes sorrow, sadness, unhappiness for candidates, because each time you have any error in terms of punctuation, it is -1/2 from this mark. Any error in terms of spelling, -1/2 from this mark. By the time you score, you have 20 rings. It means you have lost all the marks there. And to the candidates, these are seemingly minor errors. They are not minor. For example, if you write the personal pronoun I, which many candidates will write in this form, personal pronoun I, you do that, you are going to be given a ring. And if you write this in 20 places in the essay, you are going to be awarded a ring in each of the places. Therefore, it is 0 here that you have scored. And it's very, very important for anyone to ensure that you not only write your essay, you also read over your essay to avoid all these punctuation errors, tense errors, some other miscellaneous errors. There are some other ones which we are familiar with, which we must like this one. In fact, a lot, I am, in spite. These are just The first category, the examiner will accuse of writing two words together. You know, we are familiar with this, in fact, in the newspapers, in magazines. They are supposed to be two words, not one word. Therefore, they are supposed to be written separately. In the same way with a lot, I am, in spite, these are just a few ones. And the examiner will accuse you of faulty amalgamation, joining two words together. In the second category, you have one word being separated into two, and he will also smack you for it. Here, he will tell you that what the English people are put asunder, let the Nigerian put together. He gives you a ring here, a ring there, a ring there, a ring there. And here, he would look at it and tell you what the English people are put together, let the Nigerian put asunder. He gives you a ring here, a ring here, a ring here, a ring here. That's how the marks go. And by the time you know it, once you have 20 rings, all the marks there are gone. That's why it's very, very important to be careful and read over your work. Now let's look at this situation. Probably you have been asked to write a letter, and you write your address in this form. How many of you have to write a letter and write your address in this form? Look at the first line, Majiegwe High School. Because you are writing about a particular high school, not high school in general, this high school has become a proper noun. And all proper nouns must start with capital letters. Therefore, the examiner awards you a ring here. He gives you a ring here. He looks at the second line, God Day Avenue. The G of God Day is capital. This A, no matter how big it is, can occupy the whole page in that form. It is a small letter. And therefore, it gives you a ring here too. At the end of the line, because you have not inserted the comma that you need to put there, it gives you a ring. Look at the PMB. PMB 640. The P is capital, and the M and the B are initials of certain words. And therefore, they've got to be begun with capital letters. Therefore, it gives you a ring here, a ring there. And after Kazauri, which is the town, it gives you a ring because you need to put a full stop there. Therefore, for this simple address, which a primary 4, primary 5 people should be able to write without any hassle, without any problem at all. Look at how many marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.5 marks are gone. And this is not part of the 750 words, sorry, 450 words requirement. The 450 words start from there, so, or anything. Therefore, it is important for you to ensure that you properly punctuate your address, properly write your address. Let's look at another one. Probably you want to end your letter. By the way, we are saying that this series of lessons are coming from you from University Press PLC, publisher of the new Oxford Secondary English course for senior and junior secondary schools, which many of you have. Let me show you a copy. You have a copy here, which I'm using here, and so I told you that all this I'm discussing are discussed in on pages 7 and 8 of this new Oxford Secondary course. Now let's look at the end of the letter. Probably you want to end the letter and write this one. Yours sincerely. Ajamajebi. Yours sincerely, Ajamajebi. The examiner looks at it. Even though this is possessive, it must not have an apostrophe. So he gives you a ring. The S of sincerely should be a small letter. He gives you a ring. You know, to you, all those things they are just minor matters. They are not minor, because the English people will say, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Now, look at the spelling of sincerely itself is not well done. He gives you a ring there. After sincerely, there should be a mandatory comma. which you have not inserted, it gives you a ring. And for this simple subscription, you have lost how many marks? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 marks are gone. That's how the marks go, little by little, little by little. By the time you know it, all the marks here are gone. And that's why it is important for you to ensure that you not only write your essay, you read over what you have done. Let me advise you on how to allot your time. You have 50 minutes for essay writing. Once you choose your question, pay attention to the content, think about it, and use the first 5 minutes to write the outline. Outline. Then another 40 minutes. 40 minutes to write the body of the essay. And the last 5 minutes or 4 minutes to read over the essay. It's important to read over. No matter how good you may be, no matter how good you may be, nobody is infallible. Nobody is what? Nobody is what? Infallible. What I'm saying is that nobody is perfect, and therefore you have to read over your work. Not only in English language, in other subjects too. If I write, even though I've been writing for quite a long time, writing books on English language for quite a long time, if I write, if I don't read over, I would be making mistakes. But if I take the pains to read over what I've written, then I'll be able to correct all the errors that I've made. It's important for us. Therefore, in this lesson, we have tried to look at the length of the essay, the content of the essay, the organization of the essay, the expression, and all the mechanics of the essay, mechanical accuracy. If you do it in that form, I'm so sure you will write a very high quality essay which will merit a distinction grade. We are going to stop here because of our time. Next time we are going to look at a few other things which we may need to note about this essay writing business. Thank you very much for your attention. Again, let me remind you, this series of lessons have been brought to you by the University Press PLC, publishers of the New Oxford Secondary English course, both for the senior and for the junior secondary schools. Thank you very much for paying attention to these classes. God bless you.